What I am going to do today is the question. Oh, give me just one moment here. I'm thinking about doing some drag racing. I don't know if I will be able to, though, as if I do drag racing, I do prefer to do it with the controller. And as of late, I've been having some difficulty with that. Need to get a new antenna for my old computer. For the old computer. Oh, let me see here. Got that, got that. Got that. See if we're live on the pickup. We are not, as usual. Okay, so I will have to reset the game here, so I apologize for that. I'm going to reset the game, and this will tell us one way or the other if we're going to be able to do that. Car Mechanic Simulator. Alright. So, let me see. That is a astoundingly loud negative. It sounds like. Sounds very loud. Yeah, unfortunately this remote doesn't seem to be complying to my demands. Oh, what is this? What is this here? Seems that we do have the keyboard, but I'm not showing any settings on the controller end, though this game does support a controller. So I'm just going to check back here in the main menu real quick. No controller. Other keyboard and mouse, that could be part of the issue. I mean, I doubt it, but let's see if it works. Would you look at that? Well, I can tell you previously I was able to use the keyboard and the controller simultaneously. Kind of traded off. I'm not certain why it's only allowing one or the other now. There we go. So, never mind. It seems once you go into the game, it'll allow you to do whatever you want. So, now what I'm going to do is oh, wonderful. I'm just gonna go over here. See what vehicle we want to take over to the track today. Nissan GTR might be fun. GTR, we have Nissan Fairlady. That's a pretty cool one. RX-7 Legendary. Mustang Mach-1, also legendary. I'm gonna go with the RX-7. It's a Mazda, so, you know, not that big of a performance, but we'll see here. Look at our RX-7 and our non-inverted look settings. Isn't that cool? Not really. Oh. So we do have a few aftermarkets on this, it looks like. We have the aftermarket fuel filter, the aftermarket distributor, as well as the igniter and all that. Looks like we have aftermarket fuel rail, aftermarket turbo, that looks enormous. Oh, that gearbox is also aftermarket, I believe. So this, I mean, aftermarket, yeah, that's exhaust manifold, full aftermarket exhaust. Even the steering pump and alternator look as though they're aftermarket. I'm pretty certain this is a full aftermarket build that I built so long ago. I cannot recall. So let's go ahead and go over to the drag strip. With our RX-7, it doesn't make sense though. I mean, as any car guy knows, the RX-7 is legendary, so if I was going to keep it in my collection, it makes sense I would do the full build. It's an amazing car. Has to be to hold its reputation for that long. Look at that rotary. I mean, the Mazda version of it, I do not believe is what was legendary, to be honest with you. I think it was the Nissan, but I could be off on that. Or I can't really remember at the moment. But in either case, it does have a rotary engine, which is kind of funny. Twin turbo. You saw the size of that turbo. Drag racing rating is C288. It looks like I put sports tires on it. Might swap those out for slicks. I think the slicks would perform better on any drag track. But let's go ahead and go for the fourth. And select an opponent. Oof. Let's go with the BMW M3. Looks like its rating is just a little bit lower. I'm going to give it slicks. Oh, look at that. You could raise the rating. Controversially, the tuning. So let's just put it on par and see what happens. Now keep in mind I haven't done this in a while, so yeah, at least. Oh crap, that's my bad. Ooh. What time was that? Looks like he got 0 to 60 in 2.6. He pulled the 8th in 8.4. Wow, 8-second car. I got a 10-second at 9.5. This little Mazda engine. That's not bad for a little engine. Was it 0 to 60 in 4 seconds? So essentially you can go and use the restroom, come back, and it would still get in there. Let me see, 0, 100, 5.5, that's not bad. Alright, let's go ahead and try that again here. I'm going to see if I can get a little past the red line. See if that makes a difference. Should slow it down, but we'll see. Aha! Nice. That was an 8th in 6 seconds. Looks like he got a 5.5. We're both a fair amount, sure I could have swore. Oh, no, excuse me, that was the 3:30. The 8th was an 8, what am I seeing? 8.7 seconds on me and 8.4 on his. I could have swore I won that. I really could have. Right there. Well, let me try and beat him again. I did kind of mess up on that first gear. Ah, fucked it up again. What was that? 8.5, 8.5. That was really, really close. If I can get that first gear right, considering this is what a 4-cylinder rotary engine, shouldn't be too hard. Ah, bounced. Ah, bounced it. That was worse. Fuck. Excuse my language there. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh. And off the line. Wonderful. Alright. And off the line. Bounced it. Ah. Still got it though. What was that? We tied for the 8th. Huh. Tied the M3 at the same rating for the 8th. That's not bad. For a cheap car. That M3 cost a lot more. Even considering the time period they were both purchased. I mean, if you look at, you're buying a brand new 2002 BMW M3, which was a fast car. I mean, from stock, even tuning. I mean, you've seen them on the circuit track, I'm sure. Any car guy's seen it. So, yeah, I mean, that's not bad for a little RX-7 from '92. That'd have been 10 years earlier. Let's do it again. Pulled out like 2 car lengths. Oh, 8.7. No way. Okay, I'll give him the fact that he pulled out 2 car lengths in what, second gear? But I do not see how he got me by 300 milliseconds. That's astonishing. I was certain I got further than him, but hey, they're about even, I would say, with good drivers. Let's go ahead and take it out of the warm-up. Oh, let's go with the 1v1. The A to the 4. I think that was B8. I was never good at fractions in school. I always converted it to decimals. That made sense to me. I don't. Fractions just seem like a dumb way of putting it. I've always thought that. I mean, decimals, look at that. Oh, this is point such and such of 1. It's logical. Fractions, here's this number over this number. When if you divide it, you'll get a real number. Not a fake one. It's weird. Okay, so now they have me facing a way more expensive vehicle, even though it's fictionary and doesn't exist. You could clearly see it's more expensive. Tuning race, tuned 1.78 compared to my 44.70 tuned, which makes sense. It does look like V12 engines, dual overhead cam. Drag racing is a little bit subpar to mine at 263. Huh? This will be interesting. I don't know if I could depend on my shifting, really. And that's been variant if the warm-up was any idea. Pulled out on him. Only beat him by about 300 milliseconds, though. I pulled out in first gear, though. That was pretty impressive. I would like to do that in real life. I miss those days. Oh, the tires spinning, the smell of the rubber, the Mustang racing right beside you. The uncertainty, the thrill. It's great. Oh, there you go, running the line. Oh, 300 milliseconds again. And not counting the glitch that happened there. Surely a hacker trying to make me lose, but they failed again. Failed again. Happy to say it. Alright. So I beat that on the first and the second. Let's go ahead and beat it on the third, too. Beat it on the third. It's important, you know. Missed third gear. But I still beat him by about 300 milliseconds. Well, we know what car is better. On the drag strip in the 8th. We figured that out. Check this out. In the A. For Class C. Oh, sweet. So it takes randomized vehicles. In my garage, I think, with random tuning. Because both of these vehicles I own. And I never tuned either one, really. I mean, I might have an aftermarket fuel filter in the Del Rey, so that could count for the 1.37. But the Echo Imperator, which if I'm not mistaken is a replica of the Dominator, not Dominator, but I was thinking Challenger, but then again I don't think they were building them in '08, so I could be wrong on that. Could just be as a Charger, I guess, I don't know. Has a V8 OHV, so does the Del Rey, oddly enough, made in the 1957. It must have been a rare engine back then. Alright, Del Rey has slicks. I have racing tires. My rating is C247. That one's 260. Let's see what happens. Got a V8 now. Hopefully I don't mess up that first gear. Or the second, for that matter. Probably still spinning then. Ah, doesn't even map out the red. Had 550. Or 5,500. Probably 400. Seemed to switch a little soon. In either case, I missed second gear. Therefore, I was a full second behind the old 1957 Granny Wagon. Alright, let's try that again. I'm going to say it's 5-4 at the red. No, that's 5-5. That looked like 5-5. Felt like 5-5 too. Yeah, Del Rey beat me again. Can't say I'm too surprised. I'm going to try and take it to 6. I don't think it's going to make it, but we'll see. Because technically, if you look at the dash, I mean, it's 6.5 on the dash. Doesn't make much sense. But some cars I like that, so. Yeah, it's 5.5. That's 5.5. Yo. As you can see, I did miss first gear and second gear, so just trying to figure out what the RPM range is. But now we know it's 5.5, and we also know that this V8 engine really feels like a four-cylinder. Much like what is that, the Charger. Can't remember what year it was, but it was so heavy. One felt like a bloody tank when launching, and two was just slow as shit. But the tires spin, so that was nice. And that was the RT model too, stock. Supposed to get like 7 seconds something, 0 to 60. Same as, you know, worst V6 engine back in the day. I might point to, just a 6-cylinder engine could beat that, but that's just saying. That's just saying. Honestly, I think a 4-cylinder would beat this. Is that a 3.2? Okay, it does have 3.2, 0 to 60, so that's pretty good. 6.1? Oh no. 330. Got a 9.1 on the 8th. Got an 8.5 with the Del Rey. Still beating me. I seen like vehicle on the track that looked like a Del Rey. I don't know if it was the Del Rey, but it performed pretty well too. And that was in real life. It's fast. You wouldn't expect that, especially with the weight of those older vehicles. She can go. They did make them with those V8 engines back then, you know. I guess now that I think about it, they were all V8s up until what was it, the 70s, 80s? As they progressively went down the four-cylinder, and then they started moving back up until fuel costs got expensive. Then they went down again, and they went to V6 Eco Fuel. And then you got your specialized engines that switch off 2 cylinders when not utilizing them for towing or performance mode. Oh, it got all twisted in the game. I prefer the old days. But no one wants to listen to me talk. Well, let's go ahead and get back to it. Oof. That Delaware is fast. Who would have guessed that? What was that? December. What, 60 years later, that thing would still be performing on the track with sports cars. And well at that. So I'm going to step away for just one moment, but I will be right back. BRB, as they say. I'm back. All right. Let's go ahead and check a randomized vehicle again. See if we can somehow see. We got the Hinata Conqueror SX 2000 and my 71 Ford Mustang Mach 1. Now the Kanata, I think, might be a replica of the Subaru WRX STI. And quite frankly, it's kind of slow, but comparably to the V8s and stuff like that. But I think it has a good chance of winning this, honestly. 14 dual overhead cam 4x4, and that's a V8 Ford Cobra Jet 429 engine in the Mustang. 1.68 tuning on the Mustang. Zero tuning needed on the Subaru. It could handle itself, essentially. Let's see what happens here. First we gotta find the red line. Over 6,000. I think that's like 6, 7. Oh, obviously he beat me on the first one. Well, I'm still trying to figure it out. 9.2 on the 8th, 8.8 on the Mustang. So, alright, it's a Mustang, give your respect. Oh, look at that. It switched up my vehicle. Or just a color. Okay, I'm gonna say this is over 7,000 in the RPM range, which is really abnormal. 9389. So I got a 9.3 and the Mustang got an 8.9 in the A. 0 to 65.6, Mustang at 5.1. I'm gonna try and take it to the limit. Yeah. Yeah, it's 7,000. Got 3.20 to 62.7 on the Mustang. I think before I was reading the 330 line, which I don't even know why that's there. You got 9.5 on the 8th and 8.8 on the Mustang. Now that I have the RPM line down for certain, let's go ahead and give it another try. Oh, jumped the line. Jumped the line again. Whew. That Mustang's fast. 9.2 on mine and 8.8 on the Mustang. Definitely an 8-second car. I got the 10. So, there's that. Let's go ahead and try a different here. Bet race and win prizes. Alright, let's go with the A's on the C. You are about to proceed in championships with the Mazda RX-7 current setup on 8th mile C class. Entry fee an astounding 600 credits. Oh my gosh. Gee willikers, Batman. Okay, I'm just being a smartass. I will try and refrain from that. But let's see, we're going to start out by racing what I would refer to as a Rat Rod Smith and Parker Roadster F. Or no, never mind, we're racing the Austin Martin DBX. Only tell I never do this. I think I've only done this tournament like 3 times before, and it was in one day. Never did it afterwards, but Austin Martin against RX-7, I think we could win that. I don't think it should be too difficult. I think the Ford GT40 is going to beat that Roadster, though, if I were to guess. But let's see here. No way. He pulled out on me like it was nobody's business. That was very insulting. It is a 2022 Austin Martin. Alright. Did an 8.2 second in the 8 to my 9.2. You gotta give it up. Give it up to the Austin Martin. He pulled out like 3 or 4 car lengths ahead of me immediately in first gear. Well, first gear I'd say it was about 1 to 2. Then the second gear was about 2 to 3. And by third gear, it was all over. And I'm pretty certain that one was that a V6 engine? Probably V6. I definitely didn't move forward, but that's all right. Let me see if I could place bets. Let me see. No way. The Roadster actually took the GT40. That's surprising. Therefore, the Austin Martin will be going against that. Austin Martin's gonna win that. I wish I knew what year that Roadster was. But I'd say in any year, the Austin Martin's gonna take it at 8.8, was it? TC Typhoon versus the Jag. E-Type. I'd go with the Typhoon any day. And Smith and Wesson Eliminator Fury versus the Eliminator Fury. That's funny. For the second time, right? We're on. That's a Marina Bizarre Spectacola versus a Ribbon Z530F spec. I have no idea on that one, but I'm gonna try and bet on the DC. I'm gonna put 5 on the DC. It looks like I can only go to 3, so that's a little weird. But I would put 5 on it normally. I mean, what do we got? A 16XK engine with the Jaguar E-Type? I mean, 16 valves, I guess is what they're referring to. Versus a V8 2-carb OHV. Huh. Both small bodies. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely go with that, I don't know, Typhoon. Is that a 205C with the Jag on the drag ring? Let's put that down for the Typhoon. Austin Martin versus the Rat Rod. V8 M177 twin turbo, all-wheel drive, 2-carb. Oof. That's the biggest engine in the game in that Rat Rod. I think I might have to change my bets here. I'm going to put 3 on the rat rod. And we will continue. I lost on the DC Typhoon as the Jag run, but I did win on the Smith and Parker Roadster F. Did take the Austin Martin. Whew. I think, what is this? Jag beat the Typhoon. The Jag beat the Typhoon twice, essentially. Or, no, it beat the GT40 the first round. That's a tough call. Was that Smith and beat the GT40 as well? Beat the Austin Martin the second. Jag's probably gonna take it. I'd put 100 on that. Smith and Eliminated Fury. Oh, oof. I don't even know. But I'm definitely not betting on that one, so we'll put 100 on that. And won one of them. The Morrison actually ended up winning that. Compared to the old Rat Rod, the Jag is going to win this one as well. Guaranteed. So it's time to bet all 3 on the Jag. And we lost. Oddly enough, the Morrison on that entire tournament. Champions come to it. And my total payout was 800. Huh. Interesting. I'm going to try that again. Queue in for 6. So I'm racing the Bolt Reptilia. Let me go ahead and just place bets here. I'm not going to say too much in regards to why, but if the Jag's racing that, I'm going to put 100 down on the Jag. Echo Cobra, Bolt Super. Uh, hmm. I kind of want to go for the Bolt, but I'm pretty certain the Echo is a replica of a car we're all very familiar with, being the Viper, and that glides like it's on air, so we'll just go 2 on that. Oh, that's a hard one. I'm going to go 100 on the fastback. And 100 on that. Ooh, I'm not even betting on that. I'm not even going to guess. Bolt Reptilia 70. Oh yeah, he's going to beat the shit out of me. I'm going to bet on the Bolt Reptilia. If I could, I would. He has the biggest engine in the game versus my RX-7. That's ridiculous. I mean, even at 0 tuning, at that small body, that's ridiculous. And 14 cam. I don't know about that. We got a 426 Hemi and that Plymouth Roadrunner. I didn't even know they had the Roadrunner in this game. Respect. Against the 16 dual overhead cam mock-up of the Skyline or a Subaru WRX. No, that's the Skyline. That's definitely the Skyline body. Looks like a 98 Skyline mock-up. Oof. It was a fast car, but I think it's better in the circuit than it will be on drag. So I'm going to go 2 on the Roadrunner. Well, that was fun. Let's go ahead and get this started. Okay, so we lost about one of those bets, it looks like. Average. 50%. That is larger than 5.5. I was misguessing the RPM range. That's why I've been losing. Wonderful. No, I got closer, I think, that time. He did beat me, as expected. And let's go here. So let me see. I bet twice in one race, so really not certain how I could. Oh, let me see, maybe. Yeah, I'm reading that wrong. I lost both of those bets anyway. The Hinata Cobra versus the Salem Fastback. Hinata won that, and the Cobra versus the Hinata Cobra. The Hinata Cobra won that. Now it's Hinata Cobra against Hinata Cobra. And the Chief. Well, we had the Cobra versus the Supernova. I won that bet. Cobra definitely won against the Supernova. And the Jag E-Type versus the Chieftain Shiv. I put 100 on the Jag and lost. The Chieftain pulled it off. That's surprising, but it will not pull it off against the Cobra. It does not have a chance in hell. So I'm going to put 3 on the Cobra. And those have the same engine. Sports tires, race tires. One of them's supposed to be the sports brand, right? No, they're the same car. Okay. I'm going to go with the one that's more tuned up at 100 because I'm sure it's going to try and screw me. Oh. Old Reptilia versus the old Rat Rod. Hoo-hoo. That's, I would like to see the race times on that. That's going to be a close one. That Rat Rod's pulled it off before. I don't know how it's going to do against a small body like that, so I'm going to go 100 on the Bolt. Plymouth Roadrunner versus the Salem Fastback? Oh, now we're getting exciting. That Roadrunner, oh, but the Mustang is the king of the track. I'm going to put 3 on the Roadrunner. It's reckless, but let's go for it. Oh, pulled it off. Well, the Chieftain versus the Echo Cobra, lost 300 on that. The Cobra actually lost it to the Chieftain. Hinatu Kora versus the Hinatu Kora. I knew they would try to screw me, because one of them is Hinatu Kora SX OBE, which didn't display when looking at it. So that should have won, but they tried to screw me and said it was the SX. Thankfully, I predicted they were trying to screw me, and I bet on the SX. So Smith and partner eliminator, Bolton reptile. Yeah, the rat rod pulled it off. That's surprising. And the Plymouth Roadrunner actually beat the Salem Spectra fastback. So I won that 300. Oh, Subaru WRX versus the Chieftain. Chieftain has too big of an engine to lose, so probably gonna get screwed on that. Plymouth Roadrunner versus the Rat Rod. Rat Rod has the largest engine in the game, and the body size is small, so I'm gonna put 3 on that. Lost. And won. So the Chieftain Bandit Shiv versus the Hanaku Kora ended up losing to the Hanaku Kora, but the Rat Rod versus the Plymouth Roadrunner, the Rat Rod actually won it. So yeah, the Rat Rod's gonna win this one too. I'm gonna put 300 on that. That is not true that the Hinatu Kora beat the Rat Rod. I don't know why it's saying that, but it's not true. Just, it would never happen. It's, it's not going to happen in any world. On the circuit, yes. On the drag strip, no. So, anyways, championships came to an end, and my total payout is 2,200. I'm guessing because in an entire line of races on the bottom there, I guessed each one of those correctly with 300 bet on 2 of them, 200 on one of them. And I won a few other races up top too, but I don't think I predicted the entire layout. Looks like I don't have enough vehicles in my garage for E&D. In the E&D classes, I think I only have like 2 in E. I don't know for certain if I have any in D. It's a little slow, I guess. Too slow for my taste. Let's see what happens in the A. Well, I'm not going to take that to the A. What? Wants me to take my RX-7 to A class? Like, no. Like, I would never do that. I think it would switch out the RX-7 for something comparable in the A class, but I would think, but judging by the 2 last ones, I'm not so certain. Hey. Oh, that's... Oh, I didn't know you could add a car to the... Or is that just a part? Probably just a part. Let me see again. Yeah, it's just a part. Alright. I was about to say I didn't know you could add a car to the list, but it was just a part. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to take this, and I'm not sure how to do it on the remote, but oh, there you go. I think I get it now. Move that to the parking garage. Trying to figure out how to get over to the map with the remote. Oh, there we go. Parking. Oh, Edgewood Hellcat. That's, oh, I didn't even race that into the class. Or race it. I didn't even test it on the dyno for the class. Did I? No, did I? Neither did I on the Rotilla, the Humilla. That's got A class. That's fast. Yeah, she's just a little bit fast. I mean, she has 1,902 horsepower with 1,376 foot-pounds of torque, so if you're driving it manually, it's essentially uncontrollable unless you're a professional. Especially with slicks. So I think I'm just gonna sit out on that one. Oh, 368 horsepower on this Cobra lookalike. Oof. It's just so much in there, and I think it did pretty. I mean, did that? I can't remember. Could you comment below if the DC Typhoon did, yeah, just comment below if the DC Typhoon performed well in regards to the tournaments, because I remember seeing the name a few times, but I can't remember how it performed. Ford GT showed up there in the C52. 340, that's a lot smaller engine than I would have thought. It explains why it lost to the other vehicle, the other tournament we had. And the GTR is a beast. A-Class 601, 913 horsepower, 734 foot-pounds of torque. Whew. She is a beast. And the Skyline, we all have to pay homage. Much like the Subaru WRX. 428 horsepower, 6,050. And what that transmission does with that horsepower is a miracle of the track. Especially the dirt track. I don't think anybody's touching those things today on the dirt track. The Bolt Reptilia. Oh, that's a Class C. Bolt Reptilia R6. I was pretty happy to get that one too. Not to say I wasn't once I got it, just, you know, once I saw it on the track. Less so, you could say. Nissan 370Z Nismo, 350 horsepower, 7,555 RPM, 484 foot-pounds of torque at 6,000. Well, the RPM for the torque doesn't matter. I don't know how significant that would be in racing, to be honest with you. I really don't know. I do know the Nissan 370Z is a legend. Well, a legend in my own mind. I don't think it's really a legend on the track. The predecessor to it was, that was legendary on the track. It made a name for itself. I was actually going to purchase one of those. I believe it was the 330Z back then, or something like that. Was its predecessor. When I was going to purchase the, for those of you who don't know, I used to, you know, be a little bit of a street racer, a little bit of a rebel, but no, I was going to purchase one of those in place of Hyundai Tiburon GT But it ended up costing too much. I knew it costed too much, so I didn't even bother test driving it. But no, it was beautiful. They always have been. With a V6 engine, starting at a minimum of 300, was rear-wheel drive. Not good for, Nebraska in the wintertime, so it's a good thing I couldn't afford it. Of course, I did a 360 on the highway in winter in the Tiburon, not on purpose. So that wasn't the greatest either. With oncoming traffic too, that'll wake you up. That was the second time I slid on the interstate with oncoming traffic though, so luckily I was calm enough to stop it from going in the ditch. Like I did drive it in ditch one time. I was on a side road and I can't remember what was going on. Probably for the best. And I was probably, yeah, we'll just say I can't remember what was going on. And drove it in the ditch. I was so upset, but happy when it didn't have any damage and I was able to drive it out. Uh, I kept the clutch pedal on that car for many years. I like that car. That was my first sports car. Or was it my first? No, I think technically the Neon RT might have been my first. With that spoiler. Faster off the line, but not in the second and third gears. Good old days. Oh, 951 in the A class. Oh, let me see what time we're sitting at here. We have a little time here. I think I'll go ahead and take it on the track. What do we got? 8,055 for the red line. 951 horsepower, 640 foot-pounds of torque. GTO version. Let me go ahead and bring that out to the garage. Ooh, she looks good too. I'm gonna put some slicks on it. Let me figure out how to do this with the remote again. Whew. So by default, I would like it stated the game actually takes off those lug nuts incorrectly. Technically, what you're supposed to do is loosen it. Well, yeah, I mean, loosen it initially, but take it off in a hex pattern, much like the pattern in which you would put the clutch pressure plate back on when tightening the bolts. But, I don't think anybody really cares. It's just one of those, what do you call them? Something that kind of bothers me when I see it pop up. There's a way of doing things, and if you don't follow that way, then you get punished for it long term. And then when games go ahead and violate the patterns of the universe like that, it's just... And not really the patterns of the universe, more the patterns of Earth. Because when you look in like third-party career fields, like let's say a comedian or an actor, you're not really held to those same standards. You could get a lot further in those with being a lot different of a person. Get my phone plugged in. I'm actually confirming the stream here over on my mobile device while I'm doing this. Not really because of my GPU as much as it is because when I was attempting to view it on the browser in my computer with an Edge, and maybe you can comment below and, tell me what the problem might be, but when I was attempting to do it within the browser and my computer in Edge, the preview wouldn't come up, but I am able to view it in Streamlabs, so a little weird, definitely a little off. It's a little bit funny how we put down in words how off that is and how it shouldn't be, but it is. And I don't know how to do this with the controller, so let me try and add it. See, when I switch it to the controller, it switches it exclusively over to the controller, which is kind of a pain. As, what if you need to use both? What if you need both? You crave both. And what if you just want to look inverted for the controller and not so much the keyboard? What do you do then? Who do you call? Is it Ghostbusters? I don't think so. Da 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 da. Oh, let me see. I'm just gonna go ahead and sell off some of these older tires here so I don't get confused in the future. I don't want to get confuzzled, as I say. That originated with me, by the way. Since I've started saying it, well, I've said it years ago, but I've heard some comedians pick it up, so I just want to put it out right now that I was the original creator of the word confuzzled. It was me. All me. Confuzzled was my word. And I would attribute it to an impact that Snoop Dogg had on my life with his music and just the funny kind of way he shifts words. It's just, it's funny, but it's really catchy. And just to point out that the Dog Pound album wasn't the greatest. Anything he did as a feat on a Dr. Dre beat is amazing. And any feats that Snoop Dogg has ever had are generally pretty good. But in individual albums, and keep in mind, I've only listened to one of his individual albums, being the Dog Pound, which was said to be the best album of all time, as far as Snoop Dogg's concerned. I mean, Tupac probably has the best album of all time. But rap album, it's not album. Let's calm down. Next to Tupac, the best rapper was Lil Boosie. So that's just my statement, my view on things. It is correct though, but lyrically, it's definitely correct. But let's see. We got. I digest. Let's get back to the racing, right? But because I can't remember what I was talking about before. Um, we were talking about the rap. I just wanted to make sure we didn't have anybody commenting in the chat there. Because I wasn't viewing it immediately, so I just wanted to make sure. But, did I already get these added to the list? I distracted myself. So we got this board. We don't have to, let's delete all that. I'll just go over here. I just want to make sure that the tire, well, what size is on each, the front and the back. I know they're different, but I just wanted to make sure so I don't purchase the incorrect racing tire when I'm looking for the racing tire. I need the right size. Oh, let me go back here. Tire. Why does it keep going to sports tire? I'm confused again. Oh, duh. Alright. I guess we can go. I really don't know what the difference is between the different types of slicks other than the name brand. So I'm just gonna go with the was that Evero? Seems like a familiar look. But before I do that, I'm gonna check and see what tires I might have in the old warehouse for my slicks. My slickies. My slicky tires. Don't have any of the 355s. But I didn't even need a 355. Needed a 335 and a 345. 335 and a 345. Uh, was that a 345 or a 245? Yeah, it was 245 and a 335. I said it wrong. 5 and a 335. And a 335. 245. And a 335. Well, we have 245s. Let me see if they're the right size, though. As we have Slick 245, Verdi. Needs to be they're 19. It's asking for 18. I could fit a 19, but I do not want to do that. Unless I switch all of them to 19. I don't really feel like switching out rims right now. So I'm gonna put these slicks. No, I am not. I am certain, however, that I would like to move these slicks right here, back into the warehouse. So let's go over here. And move that. Let me see. 245, 35. Let's just go ahead and buy them. But 245, 35, 18. 245, 35, 18. Those are brand new. That's a waste. Well, not really a waste, but let's get rid of those. I'm just going to put them back in there in just one moment, but let me see. Oh, why am I fudging tripping? Fudge. Fudge, fudge. I don't know why that's showing up that way. Oh, let's go over here and get the accurate readout before I mistakenly buy a tire. I don't need 245, 35, 18. We'll buy 2 of those. And 3, 35, 30, 18. And 2 of those. $40, 18. That rounds. Sorry, it looks like what's showing up as a new device looks like it entered my network, so I was just looking for that there. Getting distracted again. That's what I do, right? I stay distracted. Represent. Oh. Rim 40. 18. It looks like the colors are off, so I'm gonna paint them. correctly. I really need to clean this out. Mm, 40. That's probably the wrong color too, but I'm gonna try it out. If it is, I'm not really gonna worry about it right now. Yep, wrong color. Alright. Sorry, I'm feeling a little tired. I think I only got one full night's of sleep this week. And that was last night, so that was really nice. Again, just one. At my age, it makes a huge difference. It really does with the consistency of your sleeping patterns. Not so much when you're younger, though it still does if you pay attention to it. It's just something you don't think about till you get older, I guess. But, there we go, we got those. Well, engine's not there. I don't know why I did that. It's out there. Let's see here. I got that beautiful V12 aftermarket throttle, right? Both of them. Aftermarket exhaust manifolds. leading into the rear exhaust, the whole aftermarket. Fuel filter, I don't know if I mentioned that. So, looks like it should be set on that. I'm just going to go ahead and take it back over to, well, no, shouldn't need the dyno. The 6 aren't going to make a difference on that. But, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move this baby. Well, we'll just take it over to the drag strip. Don't need to move it there. We just need to take her over. Value performance dyno run. Or pay 500 for automatic measurement. Okay, so apparently we have to take it back to the dyno, even though the only change we made were the type of tires being slicks instead of sports tires. Doesn't make much sense as the dyno only tests the engine, but okay, why not? I guess the newer ones might test the aerodynamics, which would come into play. So let's go ahead and run the dyno. I think the rating, yeah, the rating would be from stock. About that, I think the value might be a little off for you guys. Let me see. No, that should be all right. Excuse me. Sorry about that. The the rating would be judged from stock. So previously, when we were looking at the horsepower, that's all going to remain the same. At least it should. It could show a differentiation based on the tires. It could be evaluating that into the ratio of the horsepower, considering the aerodynamics, depending on how the physics are set up in this game, which would be a flawed way of setting up the physics, given that wouldn't affect the horsepower at all. But if you adjust the horsepower for the effect that the tires would have on the aerodynamics and therefore the track times, just taking that equation into effect when adjusting the horsepower, then it would set the track times correct, but the horsepower would come off wrong. But anyways, I digest. Uh, let's stay away from the physics, as it's really not that important. So the drag rating is A836. And we'll just move this back over here. Drag strip. And let's take it to the, we'll take it on A. Oh, I guess the other vehicle we were driving was capable of going into 3 different classes. If you differentiate the tuning, is what it must have been referring to on the description of this event, where it stated that would be differentiated. Set up class A, It's gonna pay 1,000 credits to get in. And what is this? We got a Mayan M8 versus a BMW N1 Proctor. BMW has that 16 valve engine. I was in the other vehicle, I believe it was a Jaguar. Not quite the same one, but still 16 valve, older engine in the 70s. Other one was a 75, that one's a 79. This one has a V8 dual overhead cam supercharged. This one has 86.22% tuning compared to the 70.85. Oh, 840. I don't know. First time you would see a BMW look like that in our modern times, anyway. I think I forgot to set the controller up correctly. I would bet on myself, I guess, but as far as this race goes, uh, I'm just gonna put 200 on the Mayan because I know those are pretty fast. I don't remember driving the other one. Where's the Porsche? Oh, the Hamel. Could take the 200. Octave versus the BMW. Octave's V12 is probably going to carry that out. That's an actual race car. I don't know about that one. Porsche and that one's going to be close. Too close to call, I would say. Oh, is that even a competition? I can't say on that one either. Alright, let's go ahead and get this started. Won my first 2 bets, lost one of them. Let's see about this. Bounced on the wrong line. Messed up every gear on there. Oh, I wish we can give that a retry, but we cannot. See, I lost that bet. So 1-2 bets, lost 2. I'm gonna go with the Hamilton for 100. The Pagani for 2. Ooh, the Mayan for 100. And for 100. Lost. 1, 1, lost. 2 and 2 again. Won the high bid, lost 2 of the low bids, and won 1 low bid. Very similar vehicles, right? Except for one has a V12 engine. I am not even going to bet on that one. Salem and I'm going to go with the Mayan. I think I'm going to lose that one though. Yeah, I lost that one. Alright. 1,400 payout. That's 400 over the buy-in, so that's alright. Let's go ahead and try it again. I don't even think I'm gonna bet. I'm just gonna go ahead and race it. Slow start. I think he would have won anyway. Porsche Carrera. 7.4 in the 8th and 6.5 in the 8th on the Carrera. Yeah, I think he would have won anyway. I put 2 on that. Oh, I lost that bet. Ooh, Salem's doing this well. Might as well put 100 on it. One. 200, so it doesn't look like it. Oh, I did get charged. Alright. Well, that was fun. I'm just gonna go ahead and return to the garage. You know, when I purchased that expansion pack, I honestly thought it would be with different players online. That's what I was hoping for. Instead, it was with the AI. I think that's why I only played it once and never played it again, but it's still pretty entertaining. I mean, just to see what cars are faster than others. It's kind of cool. What a beautiful setup for Christmas or the holidays, as they say. It's Christmas time. Okay. Now, I did want to show you guys this, see if any of you might be able to comment below on or in the chat there if you're viewing it now. Which, let me see. I'm not seeing any viewers right now. But, so, if you wanted to comment below. But, I've been unable to get this vehicle out of my garage. Essentially, it came in with this and other tags, as you can see, are to increase the power by like 35 to 40. I've replaced pretty much everything in the engine with an aftermarket part. I've even replaced those. Well, no, those are just clips, and I do have an aftermarket air filter in there. Really couldn't figure out why it still doesn't go through because this gearbox is aftermarket as well. And the exhaust is full on aftermarket. Only thing I don't think is the fuel pump, and I'm not even certain if I can get a aftermarket fuel pump in this game. Oh, looks like you can. At 2%. Let me go ahead and tune that up. And while we're at it, I think I'll go ahead and, first of all, let's see what I could sell of lesser condition. Condition up. And let's open up that case, see what's in it. Well, get another case and 1,544 credits, so that's pretty cool. Open next case. Barn location, 683 XP. Looks like that's the only 2 cases in there. We'll add that location to our map. And I'm just going to step away for a moment. But no need to fret. I will be right back. Back in the house. Balance. Y'all already know what I'm about. Alright. We got that out of the way. You know, gotta put in those obscure lyrics that are not common these days. But, I'm just gonna come over here and see if we could salvage a few of these parts here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try and salvage about 95 pages of these parts, the ones that are applicable. Let me go ahead and check and see if I could repair any first. I don't believe I can. But I might be able to repair some of those brake discs if I have any of those in there, which I don't. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and try to salvage these parts, because what I'd like to do is then go back and try to improve upon the fuel pump that I purchased aftermarket. And if that doesn't flip us over the performance base for this vehicle that I've been dying to get out of my garage for months now, we'll go ahead and take apart the engine, see about improving what performance parts we have in it, put in other performance parts. But before we do that, we'll probably pop over to the tires, see what it does if I put slicks on it. You know, just gonna try whatever we can just to get this out of my shop. It's been taking up room for, like I said, months. So, if I could, I'd put on some music for you, but I haven't gone through the approved YouTube list of music. And while I do have a partnership with a YouTuber that allows me to use her music on the recordings, not totally certain what the policy would be on live footage. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started with this. If you do hear me open a can here in just one moment, just know it's a can of Mountain Dew. I'm not cracking a beer yet. It's not late enough anyway. Alright, let's get started. got to else for me. Salvage parts. But since I've been streaming and recording stuff lately, I kind of got behind on it. You can also check out my special. I did a Christmas string, and I also released a Christmas as well. My Alright, so in order to make this more entertaining, I'm just gonna play a game to see how many I can get a bonus on in a row, and reset the timer each time I miss. I've made it up to 9 so far. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oof. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ah, almost broke my record. Not 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, made it to 15 that time. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 1, 2, 3, 4. Freddy's coming for you. 1, 2, 3. What was the rest of that? I can't remember. That was a long time ago for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, made it to 17 that time. One, two, one, two, three, one, one. Oh, here I am selling some greens. No, hopefully I didn't do what I think I might have just done. Oh, let's go back here. Alright, so I'm just gonna go here and get that pump. Totally skip over what I just did there. Let's go over here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and upgrade said fuel pump to a higher level. Oh, I thought I unintentionally scrapped that other one. Good to see that was not true. Wonderful. Now I just unintentionally went over to the other section, putting off this for another few pages. Let me try something else here. There's gotta be a faster way of getting through this. Alright, so we did get that upgraded. I'm not totally certain why it's not allowing us to place it in the... Oh, maybe I got the wrong one, but it's coming up with two of them, I guess. I put the wrong one in there. No problem. We'll just go and upgrade this one too. While we have the others for reserve whenever we need to put one in a future build. There it is, so go ahead and upgrade that to full, and we'll go ahead and put that into the vehicle. That's 1%, doubt if it's gonna make a difference. Yeah, so we still have that problem. Needs us to upgrade it. 35 to 36, let me see. I don't even think we can get aftermarket tires in this thing. None of the tires would be aftermarket. I mean, we can get race tires, but I honestly don't think it's going to increase the tuning value. I've never seen that in the past. Let's see if tuning the body might help. I doubt if it will. Honestly, I think it's going to mess it up, if anything. Front bumper B. Let's try front bumper C. Looks cooler. And I'm just going to take off these other parts. See about repairing them. Up to specifications. Doubt if it affects the tuning at all, but it's gonna sit in my garage. It might as well look good. take it over to a car wash as well. Since I'm already pretty certain I got the aftermarket ignition coils, I'm just going to take these belts off in order to make way for an engine teardown and see if there are any other parts I put in there that I might, one, be able to tune up to higher specifications, and two, maybe replace another one with a new performance version. Fuel pump's already done. ABS pump is not in here. And I'm not seeing a module either. Let's see if we already got the rotors replaced. Got that with the ventilated ones, but ventilated is not ventilated and slotted, which ventilated and slotted default is like 2.5 compared to the 3.5 on the specialized ventilated. I think these are just OEMs. Or that's got 4. Doesn't look OEM. Let me see. It's got 4, so it's tuned. Yeah. Let me check something out. See how it looks on the list. Just shows up as a ventilated at 4, which isn't correct. It's clearly aftermarket. I think that's the highest level. I don't think we could get any aftermarket calibers in this game. So yeah, that looks alright. Without even taking it off, you could see that. don't think we can get any aftermarket drive shaft, but I did want to, or steering rack, excuse me, but didn't want to confirm. Outer and inner tie rods are aftermarket as well. Already. Yeah, I did a really good job on this. I'm pretty certain it's exceeding 35 to 40. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but looks that way. I'm pretty certain the pistons are aftermarket as well, but I'm gonna have to open it up here and then I'll go ahead and check on those in the lower portion. That could probably be aftermarket. Oof. No, it cannot. That's not cool. That's already aftermarket, 13 each. That'd be 26 by itself. 5.5. That's gonna be approximately 31.5. Then you got that one. Fuel pump, I believe that was like 2.5. Oh, that's 195. That'd be a little bit of an increase. And for, I guess those brakes aren't included, so you got 0.6 on that. And then you got your ignition coils. I mean, honestly, including the 5.5 here, it should technically be over 35. Let me drain the fluid and make sure that I do indeed have the aftermarket pistons in here. And if I do, honestly, with all the aftermarket parts I'm seeing on the top of the engine, I might just have to submit a support ticket over to the manufacturer. Yeah, those pistons are aftermarket too. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they're not tuned to a higher level, but they're definitely aftermarket. Oh, look at me, I'm looking in the wrong section. 1.3 on the pistons, so yeah, they could be tuned to a higher level. There was something else I checked in the wrong area for. Camshafts, I'll check those again when I put down the vehicle. I think you might be able to get that. Camshaft, yeah, you can get those aftermarket, so I'll replace those. Crankshaft, you cannot get aftermarket. Oh. So I'm just going to tear down the engine, upgrade the pistons, upgrade any parts aftermarket that I've have to take off the vehicle that already haven't been upgraded. And then we'll check on that again. Oh, don't know why I'm doing that. Not like we're gonna have to take out the crankshaft. Just need to take out the pistons, so rod cap should be enough. Now we could replace one of those as aftermarket. Well, both of them if need be, which it looks like it will be. Yeah, I think I replaced those. And I get the ABS pump, possibly module. Let me just double check. You can't get that replaced. Yeah, can't get that. So I think I replaced those manifolds. Let me see about this. I can't do that. Replace the camshafts. I'm just gonna try maybe doing that. Just replace the manifolds, the camshaft. Never mind. Let's just tear it down. I don't want to have to replace those and then put it back together. Come to find out, it's still not working. Might as well just do it all at once. Kind of a pain, but still. Well, that could be added. Starters not. Our camshafts are, and the pump is not. Oh, we could buy one of those. Excuse me. And since we have to do that water pump, we're going to want to drain the coolant fluid. And we're also going to have to take out the steering pump, so we'll drain that. Whew. I think we might. We'll replace that engine well. No. Place that alternator. So we got a manifold, an alternator, and there was one other part we're gonna replace with the aftermarket that wasn't already in there. Yeah, the camshafts. Well, between those, I think that should do it. That doesn't do it. It's definitely got to be a bug. Let me go ahead and also upgrade an ABS module to put in there, as well as an ABS pump, if I have one handy. I don't know what type of filter it uses, otherwise I'd do that too. Let's get that airbase upgraded too. Naturally. I can't say this is a hacker for certain, as I blame so much on them. But I don't see any other reason why the game is freezing up on us. Seen this happen on one or two other streams before. But my GPU is holding strong at 47 degrees Celsius, 8% usage at the moment. Does get up there to higher usage at times. 45 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Celsius is really good actually. CPU is only 40%. I don't see any other reason this would be doing this. Just give me one moment here. I'm going to see if I could resolve this for us without having to exit, as if we do have to exit, that's going to erase all the progress we've made on this particular vehicle. Looks like it's running twice. The game is, that is. Playback engine not responding. Alright, let me try something. Let me see. It's just gonna take me a moment here to resolve this for you guys. Yeah, I'm not sure why this is happening. Unfortunately, I will have to close it out and reopen it. I do apologize for that. Um, and in account for that, once we get this booted back up, I won't take you guys through that full process again. I'll just check that out here offline. See about getting that resolved offline. In the meantime, we can just go through some garages, see if we could find any cars worth rebuilding. I think that would be a lot more entertaining than watching me work on that engine all over again. go over to the good old barn. Yeah, looks like all of my scrap parts are gone too. So another offline venture, which isn't too bad, you know. I usually just listen to a podcast while I'm doing that, so I'm not too worried about that. Only other thing would be all the racing stuff, which doesn't matter because that's just a few thousand that I ended up losing anyway. So you gotta see it without it ever happening. That's pretty cool. Let me go into my inventory here, and we could open up that case again. If I'm not mistaken, this was another case before, so I'm just curious to see if it is again. Nope. Bonus 308 on parts, so that'll help. 2,214 credits. It's a lot more than before. Let me just sell these real quick. This won't take long. Better yet, let's just keep them in there for the pull down. I don't want to put you guys through all that. Right now, I'm just gonna see if I could find that other crate manually. I forgot to click next when I was in the window, so now I want to find the other crate. I'm gonna need to find it manually. You know, it would be cool if they put in this game where you could, well, no. Now that I think about it, it might ruin the game mechanics of it, but I was just thinking it might be cool if they put in the game that you could purchase the barn crates instead of finding them in the barn. It would certainly resolve our situation. As I only could see that one crate, we could just go over to the junkyard. Having a little bit of problems here today, but that's alright. Always takes a second. There we go. Let's I'm just gonna go through, see what parts I might be able to find that are repairable and above 15%. And I'll maybe pick up a few of those. Other than that, I'm gonna see what other vehicles might be here that we could take advantage of. And by that I mean purchase, rebuild, and then resell for a decent amount. Ooh, what is this? Ooh, an Edgewood Hellcat. That's a pretty cool car. 498 horsepower. It comes with the biggest engine in the game. That's a V8 carbo HV supercharged. Wouldn't be replacing that. Buying commission 5%, 490 credits. Estimated car value after upgraded is 10,069. Well, estimated car value upgrade, I'm not sure what that means. Because you're going to get a lot more than 10,000 after upgraded. This is probably going to go for like 60, 70,000. But I'll purchase it. Whenever I see a Hellcat, I always make a note to purchase it. See if they have anything else in here. Hellcat's not the most exciting build, but let me see if they have anything else. Oh, 83s. I'll keep it in mind. That looks like a Cavalier back in the day. That looks like that looks like a Tiburon actually, in the front at least. Or that or a Scion. They kind of look similar. Chieftain TBX. I think I'd like to build that. I'm just not sure what the money would be if we did rebuild it and sell it. Honestly, don't think it would be enough to cover the expense. Well, cover the time and expense it takes to rebuild those things. It takes like an hour and 20 minutes or so. Oh yeah, we'll just go ahead and rebuild that Hellcat. And while we're here, see if we could find any parts that might be interesting. Like I was saying before. Sometimes you can find parts for cars you would not expect to find parts for. Radiator C, we could use one of those if you saw my last stream. I don't see the Apache ever in the shop, but I do like rims. Head cover A for a Hemi. Those are kind of rare. I'm not gonna worry about that. Echo Imperator hood, not really my biggest concern. If I were gonna rebuild that Hanada, I might have got that. Well, no, I wouldn't have. You can't repair the rear tail lights. Engine block V8 Boss engine. Huh. I didn't even realize that was on the expansion. Definitely gonna pick that up. Rim TVX, gotta pick that up. Never see that car in the shop. Never see a lot of these obscure parts in the shop. Well, the cars that these obscure parts would go with. CanCap A, that's a very rare engine. I think that's the 370Z's engine that this would go to. I'm gonna pick that up. Front exhaust section A, that's rare, but might be needed in the future. I don't think you could repair the camshafts. Comment below if I'm wrong. Barn location. We could check one of those out here before we get started on that rebuild, maybe. Might be fun. Mayan front bumper. Definitely gonna get that. And the Mayan M8 rear right door. Got a gearbox V60 dual overhead cam AKY. That seems like it would go to the 370Z as well. Oh, my GPU seems to be glitching out again. There's an M3. You can get that left door. For the M3, too bad that supercharger is below 15%. That looks like a good one. Right side mirror for Reptilia. Know how common those are. Definitely gonna pick that one up. Ooh, spring cap. Those are in almost every build. V12 thermostat. Rare, but when you need it, it's nice to have. Rocker arm for a V8 boss engine. That'll go with that engine we brought earlier. Rim 2, 20 inch. Go ahead and purchase that. We got a 139, 23 inch. Purchase that. We'll probably end up selling them because they don't look too good. Maybe in a future stream I might just go through my rims and see which ones I want to keep and which ones I want to get rid of. But engine head A, V8 OHVB, that's rare. Go ahead and pick that up. I do like to see the parts in my inventory for rare engines. You know, it always gives me that endorphin boost. Turbo V8 dual overhead cam, AXK TRS. I don't think I've ever ran into that, and therefore I want it. Intake manifold 16 dual cam BUS. That reminds me of an intake manifold that goes with the on Mustang engine. Maybe I did work on that boss, because it seems popping up in my head as a boss part. But I'm not sure. Onyx 5, V8 OH3C, those come around often. As well as these rear suspension upper arms. 2-barrel carburetor, gotta get that. That's below 15, so we can't get that, unfortunately. As we just brought a Hellcat that would fit on. Well, I think I'm gonna check this one out and then take off. Roadster hood, definitely worth it. Gearbox V8 OH3, we'll pick that up. Those are expensive, as I was mentioning in a previous stream. But let's go ahead and return to the garage here. So the parts normally would be 1,693 with my 15% discount due to the points I invested in my toolbox. It comes to a total of 1,440 credits. So we'll go ahead and buy that. I think the vehicle was like 10,200 and something credits. So including that and that, that'll be 3,600, probably about 3,700 or so in total. Well, not 37, excuse me. So we got the 1,400. The vehicle was like 10,200. That'd be 11,700. Yeah, ish. You know, not bad for a car. But let's go ahead and see what parts we could repair. Body parts as well as mechanical. We got 2 pages of body parts. My GPU decided to skip on the frame rate, so I missed one. And I missed that one legitimately. We'll go over here and repair the 3 pages of mechanical parts we found. Missed that one. Ah, missed my gearbox. That one hurt. At least I have it for scrap, I guess. I got the other gearbox. And the header for the Hemi 440. That's the radiator C. Got a throttle V12. Timing cover for a V8 single overhead cam. That. And the turbo V8 dual overhead cam. I decided to fail. It's wonderful. That was such a rare turbo. But, again, it's alright, I guess. Oh, I like my V8 turbo. I could use it for scrap. Don't have any rotors. We could put the parts we found for the body at least in good condition into the warehouse. I like to do that way. When I get more of those parts, well, another one of those cars later on, I could just look in the warehouse and grab the part. But we go over here. I just want to make sure all 100% there. And these I'm gonna have to take out and scrap those for parts. I don't know how those got in there. You can see my engines there. BU2 turbo, that's rare. I never see the vehicles that could fit a 16 dual overhead cam BU2. Got a V8 2-carb OHV. That's not the supercharged one, but it's alright. V8 Ford Coyote. That's rare. That's why I have that in there. I like that Coyote engine. At least rare in this video game. I'm sure in real life it comes up often. If it's even a real game in real life. A real engine in real life, which I'm sure it is because it says Ford on it. And they only put engine manufacturer names on the expansions, which are legitimately parts and vehicles, which is pretty cool. That's part of the reason why I purchased the 370Z in this game. Just to see what the engine really looks like. As well as the Ford F-250 I have in there. But, alright. Let me just check out the temperature on my GPU. 60 degrees Celsius, not being used at all. So, that's kind of ridiculous. I almost cussed there. It was so tempting, it was right on the tip of my tongue. I wanted to drop that bomb, but I held back for you guys. Alright, so instead of just wandering around here like I'm retarded, let's go ahead and add that barn location and see about checking that out. And I will be right back on that. As a matter of fact, I have to run to the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, I am back with you guys. I apologize severely. I did not mute that volume. I certainly hope you didn't hear what I think you heard. But, let's go ahead and... Excuse me. Ooh. Let's go ahead and get this mine door. We'll go ahead and get this exhaust manifold for a 14 turbo. It's kind of weird that it mentions that on the exhaust. Alright. What else do we have here? Rim 16 looks kind of cool. Arm for a V8 Ford, and a main door with a gearbox for a V8 OHVF. That's kind of nice. Junk. And not interested in that. Olson GTR, well rare, still nice. Go ahead and get that gearbox and engine head cover B. Hammerdale, Strail S. That's that square part that if you watch my Twitch stream Wednesday, I forgot to put on one of my vehicles, and it ended up causing the body not to be at 100% when I resold it. But yeah, I didn't even see that part initially. It's right in front of the front, well, the doors. You know, it only has front doors, but it's right in front of them in the lower corner, lower front corner of the door. It resides there. You wouldn't even know it's there unless you knew that vehicle really well. Oh, we got this Indian V8 Ford head cover. Definitely a must. Intake manifold for a V8 Cobra jet. Well, I guess we know what this garage has in it. And there she is. Oh no, that's the Salem Spectre Fastback 69. 183 on the engine and the body, presumably. 198, that has 5 in it on a V8 2-carbo HV supercharged. And a little bit pricey for the return. I think I'm going to hold off on that. Engine block 16, dual overhead cam, FMW, engine block. Like to get those. Single overhead cam header. Oh, got another intake for a Ford engine. Engine head for a V8 Hemi 440. Nice engine head. Roadster door. An axle knuckle C. What do we got in here? Chieftain TBX 69. Karen door. Ford Mustang Mach 1 truck. If you were watching earlier, you saw us drag racing one of those. The one I have in my garage, that is. Intake manifold. And an F350 Super Duty front fender. One moment, I'm just going to put this, pause kind of for a second. I just like to keep an eye on my CPU, GPU, and memory while playing these games, and especially while streaming, because it tends to heat up the GPU a lot, as well as the CPU, and those are two things you do not want to overheat. That overheats, you're doing pretty bad. I like to shut down before that comes to case. Even when I'm what do you call it, transcoding the video for YouTube, I'll also keep an eye on the CPUs. That often gets at 100, especially with my slow CPU. It's a Ryzen 2 CPU, like the lower end, like 2000 something. It's really bad. The board could handle a lot more, but at the time I was trying to save cost on the CPU because, you know, if the game requires a bigger CPU, it really doesn't matter too much. It just increases the loading times. So I figured I could skimp on that in place for the GPU, which was a good move. Ended up getting a pretty decent GPU, not the best, even at the time, but it's decent. It won't play top graphics on most games these days, but back in the day it would, and that was the first one I ever had that could. The RAM needs to be replaced. It was gaming RAM, but I don't, it was rated on this board, and they said it was tested with the board and it ran good, but from what I've found, I don't think it runs too well. I haven't been able to get the speed on the RAM up to the threshold advertised, even though it's in the correct slots. It doesn't make any sense. It's not even overclocking it, which it's capable of doing. And I will never do anymore, but because I'm too old for that stuff. It's so tedious. Leave that to the kids. I never really got too much into it back in the day either, but it's nice for a marginal increase. I mean, what are you going to gain from it? 5%? That's not even worth it. At that rate, you might as well buy a new part. Unless you have liquid cooling, which, you know, if you have that, you're obviously doing overclocking on every device you have to the highest threshold. But then once you do that, you have to keep a constant eye on them, like paranoid kind of eye, because if something goes wrong there, that's a bad day. Expensive one too. That is not a day I choose to risk. Liquid nitrogen would be awesome if you're gonna go with liquid cooling. So surprisingly enough, we never found that Ford. Though we found so many parts listed. I would like to go and speak with this farmer and see what's going on with that. You know, what he did with that Ford. Just to find out and, you know, see if we could negotiate a deal on a Ford that has a boss engine. Literally. Bolt-free front door, definitely. RX-7 headlight. Probably shouldn't have brought that because we can't restore it. So, not a big deal though. Let's go ahead and return to the garage. So we got parts valued at $4,687 with a 15% discount. That's $3,984. Let's go ahead and buy those parts. And today, given how slow it's kind of been, I think I'm going to go ahead and retire this stream a little bit early. Given the problems we've had with the tech and, you know, not too busy today. But I do appreciate anyone who has watched this stream, you know, any aspect of the video. Um, Special thanks goes out to those who've watched all the way through. If you did appreciate this video, please feel free to leave a like. If you would like to see more of them, please feel free to subscribe. I appreciate any comments.